Welcome to the Idon Active Health Show with your host Khalil Smith, and we got Corey Laramore here. We're gonna get right into it right after this introduction. Thank you for checking in today. How you doing today, Corey?
Doing well, man. Doing well. Glad to be here.
All right, so right now, I just want you to introduce yourself to the audience because they don't know who you are. I know you're an actor, director. You got a show coming out, which I just watched it for the second time, the web series, episode 1 and 2. So I'm a little
Uh,
mad, but I'm gonna let you introduce yourself first.
all right. Yeah, man. My name is Corey Laramore. I'm a director. Like you said, I'm a director, actor from New Jersey. I have my hand in a lot of things. I've been directing for the past, how long has it been? Like a couple years. Like it's been a couple years now. But through every single time, through every project, I've learned so many different things and met so many different people. And with acting, I've been doing that for I think like 4 years now. And then with that as well, it's just been an amazing experience, man. Oh, man.
Before we get into the questions, why did you get into acting?
Honestly,
Like,
that was just something that like I always wanted to do. Like it was always in me when I was a kid, and I would have done it when I was a kid, to be honest. But my parents, they were like, "Yo, we want you to focus more on uh, we want you to focus more on your studies," because I had went to actually an audition and for like this agency, and they wanted me too. And my parents were like, "Well, in order to do this, it would kind of have to be." See, we're going to put all of our efforts into this, or we're going to put all our efforts into your studies. And at the time, I wanted to be a veterinarian too. So my parents were like, "Well, all right, well, this is what we're going to do. We're gonna focus on your studies, and this could be a backup type of thing." Especially since, like, I think during that time, like a lot of child actors that was coming out was like going crazy. So like my parents were like, yeah, you ain't gonna be one of them.
I've
So they was like,
noticed
nah.
that.
Yeah. So they was like, nah, we ain't gonna let that go down. So I actually studied. I was studying to be a veterinarian. I did behavioral neuroscience in college, so I was doing that for that time being. But throughout that whole process, even in high school, I did plays. Um, if I like, I always was somewhat in it, like always in the arts. And then when I got out of college, I worked at a veterinary hospital for a little bit, for like a year. Hated it, not because of the job, but because of the people. It was just so draining. Like they made it so hard to work there because everybody was so depressing. And then I was just like, a cousin of mine asked me to do a fashion show, and at the time I had like auditioned for like a short film, so I did them both, and I was like, yo, I really love doing this. Let me just really go for it. I have the backing. I have like the credentials. Now I got my degree, so if I want to come back to it, I can always do that. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna go for it. Once I started really going for it, I was like, nah, this is where I need to be, and that was it.
I appreciate your parents telling you to finish your degree. Now,
Yeah,
I like that you had a dream, you tried it out instead of thinking about like what if. That what a lot of people do,
yeah,
and then you experienced it, and then you figured out, oh, this ain't for me.
yeah. Because it's funny. Because like the funny part is, I think I would have fun doing it. I think it would be a hobby. Like I would be like, if I was to do it, if I was to go back and do it, I wouldn't be in the office. I'd be like a Steve Irwin type of dude, where like I'm out in there with the animals and messing with them. Like I'll have like a documentary or something that's like that. I'll do that. But being in the office every day, I can't do that mess. That's not me.
Nah, yeah, I like to be out in the wild,
Yeah,
talking
yeah,
to the
fact.
animals.
Yeah.
I'll be the next crocodile Dundee out here
Oh, that's
myself.
that's you and me. Oh, you like to be out the animals too? That's what you be doing, man.
Yeah, I think I chose the wrong profession.
Oh, for real? Okay, let me find out.
But
Oh
yeah,
man.
let's talk about your web series. I seen the first 2 episodes. I like the whole family. The thing with you got the 2 sons, a daughter, well, actually 3 sons in the family, the
Mhm.
father and the wife. I liked it watching it. The emotion they evoked, the family, and then everybody played a different part. 'Cause everybody got their personalities, like any family. Well, so what made you start that, and like um what was the purpose of it? That web series.
Well, honestly, it came with like multiple purposes, which is interesting because when I first presented it, a friend of mine uh, named Marcus Evans, he's one of the directors for the show. I presented it to him because I was like, "Yo, uh, we need something for a lot of the actors that we know, and not even myself, but we need something for us to be able to showcase our talents because there aren't a lot of opportunity. There are a lot of opportunities out there, but we aren't seeing them sometimes, and sometimes we don't have access, and sometimes we're put in a position where we have to wait for things to be presented to us. And I've never been the type of person where I want my future, my success to be in the hands of somebody else where they can dictate those different things and I have no control over it. I can't it's hard for me to function in that way. So I rather help create that table for us. And then if they're interested, they could be a part of it, and that's what I really wanted to do. So I created the show and I showed it to him and I said, yo, we need some other directors. And he brought in some friends that he knew that were directors. I brought some of mine and I let those people, I let Marcus and a couple of other directors, Shaquan Yates, who was also a director as well. And I let them first, after I created the backbone of it, of the characters, of the story, I let them choose a character to kind of do a story on. So it was kind of like they knew where it started and knew where it began. I was like, all right, now create that middle piece and let you guys have the flexibility. And I allow you guys to choose any genre and different things like that. So that way it gives them the freedom as well as writers and as directors to really just like have fun in doing something and, to do it at a great quality and it could actually become something great. So, and when it came to the story of the characters, I wanted a family that, yes, they have their issues, but they always will be a family. Like they're always going to be together. There's always something that's going to always bring them together. And to have like a black family that's, I don't know, like you don't really see that many full black families on TV in a drama.
No, you don't.
You see in the sitcom, it's always like funny stuff. I think the most thing we got now is Bel Air, and that's just now. But it's like you'll never really get to just see them experience life. Like, it always has to be something so crazy. Like it has to be like I don't know how to describe, but it can't just be like I don't know, like for example, with a lot of white dramas, we see these families go through all these different things and we just look through it as a norm. But when it comes to black people, there's only certain problems that they're allowed to deal with. They can't just, have a whole expansion of problems. Like these people have lives, like, and when they do have those expansion of problems, always like look to as a joke. It's a comedic sense. So I was like, you know what? Let's create a world where it's like anything can happen, like legit anything. You don't know what might happen, and that's why I made it into an anthology because it allowed us that freedom as well to just be like, boom, like let's say one episode somebody get powers, like it could be something like that, like something as simple as that can happen, and you'd be like, oh crap, like how'd that happen? And we explain it, and it makes sense for this world, but it just makes it so that way anything is accessible, and that's what I wanted to do with the show.
That's crazy. My favorite part of that, what you just said, well, you don't want no one to control your future. So I'm like, yo, that's perfect. You made it just for like um your friends or actors so they can showcase their talents. Like
Yeah,
that's amazing. Like not just waiting because you can be waiting forever for that opportunity
yeah,
for no one to notice your talents.
and it's
So
just all that waiting and all that type of stuff. You'll be waiting for a long time, man, and a lot of actors they end up waiting for a long period of time, and bless them. But no, I can't. Like it's too much stuff that I got in me that I can just let it sit. You know,
yeah.
I can't do that.
Yeah, I value patience, but sometimes you got to create the move. You got to create your own opportunity. So like that's crazy, but yeah, yeah. What you were saying with the black family and like we're only allowed to have limited problems or it's frowned upon, but then you see in any white family they have all these problems and we just rationalize it. So that's crazy. So yeah, I love what you're doing. That's crazy. Like I had to look up anthology when I saw anthology series. I'm like a
Yeah,
published collection of poems or other pieces of writing. I'm like, what does
Yeah,
this mean?
yeah. And,
You got me learning over here to do my
that's,
research.
hey, listen, man, that's that. I love that. Like, I wanted to be different, like, because I was like, we make it just a drama, it's just a drama. But imagine if you had everything. So like Black Mirror, like with Black Mirror, you can see anything going down. It's crazy. Like but there's always a constant theme, like across everything. And that's one thing with our episodes, is that the constant theme is that nothing is ever as it seems. So it's like what may look like something is maybe not the exact thing that what you think it is. So it's just like it's always something going on.
Yeah, that's amazing. Keep people on their toes with that.
Oh yeah. Because as I said, this even in the pilot, like there's stuff that you would think you'd be like, oh okay, like oh, that's what's going on. Okay, all right. So yeah, oh man. Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it, man. I'm glad you really did watch that you watched it and you enjoyed it.
I know, I appreciate it. Yeah, I seen it on Facebook. Yeah, so hopefully everybody else can look at it. The web series on Facebook, follow it, check it out. Shoot,
Most
I
definitely.
encourage it. So, how do you come out? How did you come about the name Epitome?
So Epitome actually came up
Epitome,
for
yes.
no, that's all good. There you
Okay.
go, man. Listen, you good. Me and my friends, it was me, Shaquan, and Marcus. And at the time, Josh. We were all on the call. These were the directors, and we were all on the call. And the show was already created in regards to what we're gonna do. Like I already gave that to them, and I was like, "Yo, I'm looking for a name. I'm trying to come up with this name." And we were like, "Yo, what could be a good name to really like show what this show is that can be broad but also fit the show?" Like mine was, I think I had like Connections. That was the original name of it. It was some mess like that where like everything's always connected. And they was like, "Nah, it's trash." I was like, "Oh, all right, whatever."
At least they'll
And,
being honest.
they was always honest. But I was like, "I don't care. I think it's great. So it's gonna be Connections until we get something better." So I don't know what to tell you. But it was what happened. We was like, "All right, well, uh, look up names of something that is like appears to be great, or the highest amount or something." It was something along those lines, and we were reading off synonyms, and I think Shaquan was reading it off. He said epitome. I said, "Yo, click that, hit that real quick. What's the definition?" And with the definition, I said, "Oh, that's it. That's it. No more. We don't gotta go nowhere else." And we was all on the same page. He was like, "Yeah, that sound hot." He was like, "All right, cool. We gonna keep that." So then after that, we was like, "Yeah, that's gonna stay."
Yeah, I had to
Yeah,
look that up myself. It says a personal thing that is a perfect example of a particular quality.
yeah, and that's what a lot of these people in the show try to do. So that's what we wanted to do. Oh man, but yeah, man.
And that's crazy. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, I like it. Where can people find this show, by the way, so they want to look at it? Like your link, see previews, so they can um check it out.
Oh yeah, of course. So you can go on Facebook. If you go on Facebook, watch. You can search up Epitome web series. You just type it in. We have our own Facebook page. If you go on Instagram, Epitome web series. We have our own Instagram page. Right now, we're only showing the pilot, so that's the first and two episodes. We are releasing the rest of the episodes later, but we do have something coming up for that thing that we're working on with something else. So we can't really release too much information, but I'm glad in the way that it's been going that we're able to do it in the way that we're going to do it. So it's been a crazy experience, man.
What type of feedback have you gotten so far with
Uh,
the route you're going? I
honestly,
know you.
I'll go ahead. I'm
No,
sorry.
you're fine. You're fine. Go.
No, what you about to say? My fault.
No, no, no. Because when I was looking on Facebook, I saw like sometimes you would show the people who are watching it their reactions. So I was just asking like, what feedback have you gotten so far?
It's been crazy. Like, a lot of people are able to see the different angles of the relationships. So, and that was something that I always wanted for people to see when I wrote the pilot and wrote this story, was that you can really see what's going on with everybody. And I think that's, as an artist, is like you want people to understand what you're trying to say. So like seeing that people are understanding what I'm saying is like, yo, that's like music to my ears. It's perfect. And the feedback I've been getting is just like people are more like they're like, yo, so what does this mean? Like when is that gonna like when wait a minute, like how does this mean? Okay, oh snap. All right, well that means that he's gonna be so what does that mean for the family? So it's just like it's all these different things that people are asking about. And I'm like, I gotta wait. I gotta wait to see. So I can't wait to show them. And it'd be like, yo, there's so much more that there's so much more to come out. And the actors did such a phenomenal jobs, man. I'm very proud of the cast that we have.
Like I love how you bring it up to suspense and then you bring it down and then back up to suspense. I'm like, I was losing my mind. I seen like the girl with the pregnancy, then I see the dude talking to the girl about the pregnancy, and I was like, oh, what is he about to say to her? Now keep that baby. Like, you know, give it to me. Like, don't do that to the baby, the kid.
Hey, yo. That's said these characters
It's
that
a
we
bunch of
create.
cliffhangers.
Oh yeah, man. That's what I wanted. I wanted it to be like you get a sense of the characters, but it's like it's not enough where you know them, but you don't know what's gonna happen next. So it's like it's there's so many cliffhangers with everybody, and I want it to be like just little hints, little nuggets, little breadcrumbs where it's like, oh snap, like that could get deep real quick. So it's like that's what I really want. Oh
Yeah, but
man.
I do appreciate the whole family scenario. They all always come together, work together, especially after I think one of my other favorite scenes was okay, it was a sad scene, but the dude committed suicide. I'm not gonna say favorite because it was sad.
Yeah.
But then they kind of went upstairs and kind of just situated, just coming together. Yeah. So it makes you think
Yeah.
about life at that moment when you see somebody life is gone and now you appreciate yours more.
Mm, that's so true. That's so it's crazy because when it was Shaquan because originally I wrote it as them all coming back to the dinner table or something like that. And Shaquan, we was talking. He was like, "Yo, have them all come together in the room and watch TV or something like that." I was like, "Why?" Because he's like, you think about it, like we don't ever see that on TV. He's like, they always be like, come back to the dinner table, as a family, something like that. But like most times when we eating food, we in somebody's room, low key. Like if it's a black
True.
family, you in somebody's room watching TV. He's like, yo, why don't you do something? Like, why don't we do that? I was like, that would feel like home. Like, it feels like it's very like culturally home. And then when we added that, I was like, yeah, that fits. It
And that's
fits so well.
one of the most comfortable parts of the house, like you said, the bedroom. So it makes sense.
Yeah, man. That's I said that was shot so well. We was like, yeah, that it just fits so well. And it's funny because there was no lines for that scene. Like we're all in that room. That was all unscripted. Everybody was just acting naturally, and we're like, all right, it was just natural reactions of us just laughing with each other, things like that. So I'm just glad we all got along so well. And I really do think for my cast. I'm really thankful for God for that cast, man. Oh man.
How do you go about the process when you're writing like your scripts? Like before you started this, like how did that process go?
Well, for me, it's kind of like it hits me in a way. Like it's weird. It's I get inspiration from different things, and then opportunity comes to me of something that's a need that's missing. So like in this case, I was just like, man, like we're missing something where to showcase our talent and our work. And I was talking to my dad about it. And he said something, and it clicked to me. I was like, we could do that. Like I could do that. I could do that. Like you don't ever see this anywhere. Like when we see TV shows. I mean, not even TV shows, but short films. I'll give you a perfect example. You see a short film, you see maybe a part one or part two, but it's on YouTube, right?
Yeah.
Or like Vimeo, or maybe Amazon Prime if they get lucky, or a bigger platform. But it's a short film. It's quick. It's maybe like 20 minutes long, but you won't get a part two till next year, right? You see, let's see a comedian like Haha Davis, or different people like that. You'll see them do a video. It's low quality, but it's maybe like 5 minutes long. And you sit up there watching the whole thing, and it's a whole story, but it's funny. But it's a short content, and you'll watch that too. And it's always consistent. It's coming out to you all the time. So I was like, well, what if you had both, where it wasn't a comedic thing, and it wasn't low quality, but it was a high quality thing that was short, but it hits you right where you like, and it hit this like, and you get it all the time. There's a consistent thing all the time. And I was like, we don't have that. I was like, this could possibly change that, and that's what I was going to do with this. And it was just like, man. So like when that came out to my idea, then the inspiration for the stories came up, and I started looking at my life and other people's lives I've interacted with, and when that came about, it was just like, all right, that's kind of like how I write. It's just like it's inspiration from different things I've seen, or maybe things I haven't seen. So like that's on TV because it's just like, or that's to the public because it's just like, yo, like whatever goes out there, somebody is watching this, and the internet is always there. Like, you know what I mean? Like you can always go back to watching an episode of something or seeing something, and you can affect somebody's life like that. So that's what I always think of when I write my stuff.
Oh, that's amazing. All right. Who has inspired you the most in your life? Like, especially what you're doing right now, like to keep going. Because sometimes we need that in life. Someone to inspire us or help us cultivate our ideas.
Um, it's crazy because I haven't really, I don't know. I would say my father, to be honest. I think my father more than anything. I think it's just because of the fact of like I've seen him do his own entrepreneurial things like that, but it's whatever he goes after, he does it. Like, and seeing somebody that does that and will find different ways to look at different things to make it work, and always is looking in a different way, and even like uses patience, using the time to be ambitious, those different things, and seeing those aspects happen in front of me for so long, it kind of like just grew into me naturally, where now stuff could happen, crazy to be going wrong, I'm looking at like, all right, well, this is what we can do, let's flip this, let's change this around. And there's always something that can be done, and it's always kind of like finding being the solution for somebody else's problem. And I think that that's what I applied to my own self. Sometimes you just have to be that solution for somebody. And it's just like, I don't know, like I think that's why he inspired me the most, because he's been that in so many other people's lives. And that kind of affected me in that way too.
Yeah, that's amazing. So let's say we have somebody who's trying to be a director, do their own little short film or web series. What three tips would you give them to develop themselves to accomplish that goal?
Three tips is
All right, or five. Just
we'll do.
the first five you could think of.
All right.
Could be a character thing or discipline or work ethic, anything of that nature.
I'll say number one is organize yourself. Organize yourself. Plan ahead, like as much as you can. Honestly, like if you can plan ahead, it helps things move way down the line. Like when you get there, it's so much more easier. Two, don't be afraid of other people that are more experienced than you, because there's always going to be that way, especially if you're starting from nothing. It's always going to be that case. There's going to be other people that know more than you. And that's okay. Like you learn from them, they learn from you. Like it's sometimes you just learn from them. It's all good. Like, but it's only just make sure. And that's number three. Understand people's intentions when they come a part of what you're trying to do. And what I mean by that is you're going to meet a lot of people that are there that don't have your project in its best interest, where it's not a priority to them, and when it's not a priority to somebody, you don't put it in your mind. It's something that's in the back of your mind. You don't really make time for it, things like that. And if you're doing a project with what you're trying to do as a director, and you got people that's not really into it, it's not going to work. You're going to be tight because you're going to be trying to reach them, all that type of stuff. Have people around you that are there because they want to be there. If they don't want to be there, I don't care how good they are. I don't care if they're great and they have all these different type of accolades. Don't even have them there. Trust me, it's more valuable to have somebody that is there that wants to be there, and you can train them to do the things that you need them to do, than to have somebody that already has the training and don't want to be there, because they'll be worthless to you. Um, Number 4, YouTube. YouTube and educate yourself. And what I mean by YouTube is looking at videos of other directors, of other people who have done it, and seeing how they did it and seeing what works for you. Doesn't mean that you have to do what they did, but applying it to yourself, kind of like, okay, I see how they did that. How can I apply it to my lifestyle and what I'm doing and still make a way where I'm making a difference or making a impact, that people will be like, oh, snap. So that's another thing. I don't know what number I'm on now.
I think that was 5. Oh, we good.
Yeah, yeah, that's 5. Yeah,
There was all gems in there. Shoot.
yeah,
I
yeah.
feel you. I appreciate them tips. Yeah, and my audience too. So my last question before we get into my lightning round: what do you see yourself in 5 years?
5 years. I see myself directing my own films, like still doing it, but on a bigger stage, like in movie theaters. I see myself in movie theaters as well as an actor, and, really putting in that work and seeing myself on TV shows and movies. And I also see myself singing too. Like,
Okay,
yeah, I
I
see
feel you.
myself like really pursuing that, like heavy. And I I don't do it as much now because I focus. When I put my focus into something, I usually try to divert all my attention to it. But I see myself really like pursuing that heavy and having like that three-way balance and being successful in all those type of things. In 5 years, yeah, that's where I see myself at.
That's amazing. I can see it.
And thank
I'm
you.
gonna be watching you.
All right,
Also,
bet.
actually, I got one more question. How important do you think it is to focus on one thing rather than spread yourself thin on so many things? I know you said that why your parents tell you to go to school and not do this and this and this, because now your focus is everywhere and you can't really develop in that one area. How important do you think that is to you?
I think it's very important in a way, but at the same time, it also depends on you. And I think that I think for my age, it's best to try and fail than to not try at all. And even honestly, at any age, to be honest, but like have wisdom with doing it, of course. Like, yeah, I wouldn't tell somebody, oh, leave, don't pay bills, and try everything. But if that's what you're choosing to do, just know that that's what it comes with sometimes. But honestly, I would say like it's probably best if you. It's just hard to say, man, because it's so situational, It really is like because you could try all these different things and none of them work, and you could spread yourself thin, or you could try everything and some one thing works, and boom, now
And then
that's
jump
what
on
you're.
that.
Yeah, like it's
I
so
feel
many
you.
different ways that you could do it, but I think that the best thing for you to do is when it comes to that scenario, I think it's just put your energy into the things that you care about the most and prioritize your time in that way. And when you do it that way, those things will grow on its own. Now, don't get me wrong, in both ways, they'll get better. Where if you focus on one specific thing, it's going to get better on its own as well. It's just that that specific thing will get exceptionally better than everything else. And it'll happen a lot faster than all the other things. And you might be more successful in that area, and those other things might not get there yet. And if you focus on everything at once, you're going to have a lot more failures too. And it's going to take some time. But overall, you'll get greater as it goes up too. So that's what I said. It's kind of just finding out what works for you in that time period that you're in, because it doesn't have to be so drastic as like, oh, I can only choose one or the other. It could be just specific time periods. Like, for this 2 months, I'm only focusing on this, or for this 2 months, I'm focusing on all three of these things. I want to work on this, this, and this. Let's build those up first to give a foundation, and then I can work on one at a time. Like, you know what I mean? So it's just like
Yeah.
it could be just different ways to it. There's no set way. It's never just this is the only way that works. It's just you got to put the work in. That's it.
I should appreciate it. Just how you want to manage it. But yeah, I like that. Like 2 months, then another 2 months. Yeah, just
Yeah,
spread it out, whatever you're comfortable with. At the end of the day. All
yeah.
right, so we're gonna go into my I don't active health round. So pretty much, I'm gonna ask you a couple questions, like 3 questions. So, what is your purpose in this world, in your opinion?
Purpose. Mm.
Because I feel like once somebody have a purpose, like anything that gets in their way, they can overcome it because now it's bigger than them. So that's why I ask that question sometimes.
Man, I don't blame you. It's crazy because I've thought about this a couple of times. I think my purpose in this world is to help people in a way. I think it's to be an impact in a lot of people's lives. I think that's what my purpose is.
Be an impact in people's lives.
Yeah, whether that's being creating or speaking to somebody or anything. I always felt like it was never just about me. Like even with the way my life is, the way it's always been, it's never just been about me. It's always been for somebody else.
All right, that's what's up. That's what's up. My second question: what are some relationships or friendships you had to cut off for you to grow? Because sometimes you
Uh,
can't bring everybody along.
it's funny because it's like there's some people I had to. It's not cutting them off. Sometimes it's not even cutting off. It's just letting it be known. And if they leave, then they leave.
And sometimes you just outgrow that relationship.
Yeah, and it's like there's certain like let me say, has there been anybody I really? There's been some people I have had to outgrow where I stopped communicating with them as much, and it's just like it just happens. Like it's just like I just don't talk to you as much as I used to, not because I don't like you or like you're. It's just I we don't have the same like goals right now. But honestly, sometimes it's just like they'll do it on their own. Like once you let it be known of what you're trying to do, they'll kind of back up on their own. And if they're still hindering that, then you got to let it be known. Like we can't communicate. There's sometimes I had to tell friends like, yo, this is what I'm doing. If you're still being a negative impact on my stuff, I can't have you around. Like, why would I keep somebody negative around me all the time? I need that. I why would I want that around me? Being truthful and being negative is two different things. So it's you can be a positive impact on somebody and be truthful. And it could be hard, but it could be a positive thing towards them. But if you're constantly just bringing a negative thing to everybody, why would I want you around me? I'm going to address that. So I think that's like it's really just an addressing. And those people they'll do the stuff on their own.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I want to address that real quick. Like you said, positive. You want positive people around you. Cause positive
Yeah.
people gonna influence your thoughts and your actions. So I completely agree. So my last 2 questions. So since it's a health business podcast, I like to talk to you about um the physical side. So what are some type of workouts you like to do? What is your favorite workout to do for your like your mind and your body? Because some people find that as a stress reliever when you work out. So I don't know if it's walking, running, lifting, um, just stretching, anything of that nature.
I think for me, the old if I like when I have the best free time, basketball. Basketball for
Basketball,
me
okay.
is the best stress reliever more than anything. I can let everything out on the court and I'm good. Like I'm straight. Cause that was always something I could like I could always do that. Like I could be angry, I could do anything I want, like go off, all that type of stuff on the court. I'm good. And after that, I'm like, oh, I'm straight. Like now,
That's
like
great.
that's just the way I like. That's just sports in general. Like you can have all that, be respectful, of course, but like even then, you sometimes be disrespectful too. And like you hit somebody off, hey, I got you. But it is what it is. But I think that running and lifting too. If I can't play ball, running always clears my mind, uh, pushes me harder, just gets my blood pumping. That's something. Lifting, I feel like I'm a boss. I'm in the gym when I'm doing that. So like I feel like when you lifting, you just be like you start seeing some bulk. You're like, oh, all right, like start looking at yourself like a little different. So I think you challenge yourself too. So I think
Yeah,
that's
that's great. Yeah, it's definitely a self-esteem boost. If you feel better, you look better, so you do better work. My last question. All right, this is part of the nutritional side. What are some foods you like to consume? Like, let's say just make your day better or to give you that energy to pursue any goals you're doing?
Honestly, like right now, like I usually do this like every once in the blue moon when I'm like really getting back on my fitness stuff. Like when I'm at fitness level, I'm eating mostly chicken, broccoli, rice. That's mostly what I'm eating every day, all day. Um, I might eat some grains here and there where I'm like, some oatmeal in the morning, and, some eggs. But that's if I eat breakfast. If I don't, I'm just eating chicken, broccoli, rice all throughout the day, just because it's clean. It's something that's protein, and it's getting me everything I need throughout the day with the carbs and all that type of stuff. But I think that those consistently for me. But um, I don't know. I don't know. I guess that's it. Yeah. I guess, yeah.
Yeah, like you said, that's important, giving you that energy so you can sustain, and it's
Yeah.
giving you energy instead of taking away energy. That's what I think is important. It's part of nutritional.
Yeah.
But yeah. So I just want to say thank you, Corey, for coming on the Eye on Active Health Show. I appreciate it. Yeah, I love the show, the web series. I can't wait for the next episodes. I'll be watching that, following the Instagram page, and for the audience, the links will be below after uh, we end this conversation. So thank you everyone for tuning in, and thank you to Corey. You've been a great guest.
Nah, man, thank you for having me. Thank you for the questions. This is really a great opportunity. And also thank Andrea Ward for hooking this up, being the plug for this as well. But I got shout her out. But yeah, man, thank you for really having me. This really was a blessing.
Oh yeah, appreciate that. Yeah, thank you to Andrew Reward too.
Thanks.